Hey there, it's Simone, and I am swatching some inks today. Yep, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I have received multiple ink samples from various different friends over the past 4 to 6 months, and I haven't really done anything with them. So I decided that it is high time to give each of my friends a shout out and also share the swatches with you here. I have received various different samples from different friends, so this is a combined swatching session, but I still have, I think, 3 or 4 more to go that I still need to swatch and film. And then actually, this swatch book is going to be done. So I decided I'm going to swatch all of the swatches from friends in there and then move on to the next ink swatch book for all the other swatching needs that I have. I counted the pages and it's going to be all the inks from all the friends, and then it's done. So this is swatches that I received from my friend Maria. She has a YouTube channel on here. Her YouTube channel is Maria Rousseau, and she does inky content, which I love. And so I watch her YouTube videos all the time. And she saw my ink wish list and said that she would pass along 4 of those inks that were on my list to me. So she shared KWC grapefruit with me, which is my very first scented ink. And it's not as bad as I had imagined, to be honest. It's a very red-leaning orange. It's definitely beautiful. It has some nice shading properties, and I definitely can see myself using that in a pen. And then she also passed along a sample of Pilot. Yeah. Yeah, we're German here, if you haven't noticed yet. Palette Irojizuku Fuyugaki. That is very bright and very loud. I'm curious to see if I don't really like the swatch. That much I can say right now. It's very, very red, very bright, orangey red. But I'm curious to see if I can tolerate it in a pen. I was drawn to this ink, or I wanted to swatch this ink and use a sample because I heard that it was really nice. And I'm not sure that I can agree with that, but we will see. And then the next one is, I think she shared her favorite gray ink. I think that's what she said. I had it on my wish list for a long time, so I'm really glad she was able to share some with me, and it's definitely a nice gray. I can see why it's a lot of people's favorite ink, and I'm really curious to see how that will perform in a fountain pen. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with gray inks. I'm not really sure why. I'm trying to figure that one out with swatching many different gray inks and using them. Some just don't. I just don't like them when they're in a pen, but I haven't really found the reason why. And then she swatched this ink in a recent, maybe September-ish, ink swatching session that she shared on her YouTube channel, which is Dominant Industry Snowy Mountain Sunset. And when I went to get that from a store as a sample, they were completely sold out. So she offered to pass this one along because she likes the ink, if I'm not mistaken, but it's super light. And I totally see yeah, absolutely. I don't think that will do well in a pen, but the shading and the shimmer is really, really lovely. So I totally understand why people love this ink. It's probably not one that I would I would use. I'm pretty sure about that. And then while I was waiting for the ink to dry in my swatch book, I started to label the ink swatches on the coloring cards. On the back of my cards, I put the information as follows. I write if it's a sample or if it's a bottle. I write and I researched that later on how many milliliters are in the bottle if it's a sample, if it's a bottle, where or when I got it from. I got this for Christmas 2022. I wrote it's a 30 milliliter bottle and where I purchased it on Amazon. And that's what the information that I put on to these cards on the back. And I usually put a circle with a crossed out circle on the back when I pass along or use up a sample, because I'm going to keep those swatches in my stash or on this ring just so that I can compare them with the swatches that coming in, so that I don't necessarily keep all of the inks, but I can then still use the swatches, the swatch cards that I made to compare with other inks that are coming in, if that makes sense. And then I received a sample from a Fiden Pens exclusive ink that they did in collaboration with Diamine, and it is called Leap of Faith. Ramona, and her Instagram is Ramona Firehorse. She sent that one over when she gifted me a fountain pen, which was extremely generous, and I'm forever grateful. This ink is sheening ink. It's you can see the application is so dark. I would say this is a really dark blue, royal blue even, with a red sheen. But when I wrote with it, with my dip pen, of course, it almost appears black. I'm not sure, again, how this looks then in a fountain pen, because you never know if the appearance on a... What am I saying right now? You know, when it's on a dip pen, it's always different than, because there's so much ink in the grooves, it's probably more thick and more legible than it is with a fountain pen. So maybe it's not as dark, as black than it did here. So this is, well, definitely an ink I am considering purchasing. Let's put it this way. I really loved this. I loved how it dried. Wow. It's Sela Hara Hara, and I'm not sure if this is a part of the Shikiori line or if it's a standalone ink. It's purple with a black something. Is it shading? Wow. It's more leaning towards magenta if I'm looking at it now, but that ink is just chef's kiss. If you have it, let me know how you like it. How does it perform in a pen? I cannot wait to get it into one and see how it writes, if I still like it or if I just like the swatch. You never know. I mean, it's different. Swatching inks and using inks in fountain pens is not the same. And then the last ink that I received from my friend, these two were from my friend Lori. She actually also has a YouTube channel. It's called Handmade by Lorelei, where she shares mostly knitting vlogs, but she also often shares paper crafting and some fountain pen stuff on there. You should check her out. She's also really nice. And the last sample that she sent was Ferris Wheel Press Steeped Umber. That was one that I wanted to use or try as well, and I really liked that one as well. So which one of those would you want to put into a fountain pen first? I think mine is probably the Hara Hara. But I also really, really enjoyed, now I can't even find it anymore, the Earl Grey. I want to see how that looks in a fountain pen compared to the Robert Oster Soft Kitty, Warm Kitty Soft Kitty. That's definitely one of those inks that I want to compare it to. And then I'm looking for inks that I have that compare to all the other grays, but maybe the Diamine Tempest, no. Some of these grays are really hard to catalog, if that makes sense. So I'm looking for other swatches. That was the end of all the swatches that I made, and I couldn't even find many of the ones that I have already. I just put them aside instead of putting them back into the mix. These are my oranges, and as you can clearly see, both the Iroshizuku Fuyugaki as well as the KWZ Grapefruit compare less to the oranges that I had in my stash, but more with the bright reds, Brilliant Rot or the Sindoor from Krishna. I don't have any inks in my stash that compare to the Snowy Mountain Sunset. Some of the light inks that I received from my friend Mari from Doodlestar Mari are similar in their feel, but not in the color. And then the Steeped Umber is different to many of the brown inks that I have in samples of or in my stash. I say in my stash. I don't own many ink bottles. When I say stash, I meant sample stash. It's close to the Absolute Brown from Waterman that I haven't shared a swatch on YouTube. But yeah, I'd really love to know what you think of these inks. Did you use any of them before? Let me know in the comments below. Yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Until then, bye.